This video I'm going to devote to talking about Richard, the leader of the group there. Richard Dugan. I'm going to post some links down on the bottom here as to what happened to him and the little group up there after I left in 98, the end of 98. Richard, well, I will tell you what he told me about his past. He was raised a foster child. He was in a lot of foster homes and he was abused quite badly. I won't go into detail. He claims that during Nam he was a Green Beret or something, some special Navy Special Forces, whatever. I don't know crap about the armed forces and don't care to. Anyway, so guy I stayed with, the I'll get into later when I left the hill. He told me, because this guy lived right down at the bottom of the hill from us, and we were family friends. He told me that Richard told him the very first time he met him, "I've killed 6 people," or some bullshit. That's Richard. Well, Richard really regarded this book, this United States of Britain and Prophecy, as a, basically a addition to the Bible, almost. It was very important to him, obviously, since it told him he was king. The story goes that he and Mark and his wife Laura, one of his 2 wives, he later had 2 wives, lived in the projects, and one day some kind of mist or something started to come out because he was trying to get that book or something, and he put a cross around his neck and it burned him. Anyway, let me just get into more or less the way he was when I was there. He more or less expected complete obedience to him. That's a typical cult leader. Richard would come up with these harebrained schemes on how to make money. Over and over and over again, I would hear how God has told him this, God has told him that, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, blah, 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 blah. Well, none of it ever panned out. Every month or so, it was a new idea he had. The only reason I stayed there as long as I did, because after a couple of years, I realized I needed to get the hell out of that place. There were things going on there that I will not even get into. I didn't witness these things happening, but I knew they were going on. And I wanted to leave. and I was going to leave. But I was so committed to the idea that I didn't want to drink again. And I was afraid that I would drink again. And that was the only reason I stayed. It was a dry county. The only reason I stayed as long as I did was that I was trying to stay sober. And it was like being in a bad marriage. You keep thinking to yourself, things are going to change, they're going to change, they're going to change. They're not going to change. They're not going to change. These people had no moral compass at all. Period. I mean, that was obvious. But I keep going back to the fact that Jehovah wanted me there. He sure did. Richard came up with a scheme by the time I was leaving, and I'll try to find that link down here. Put it down here. I'll find it. He came up with this scheme that he was going to make money singing. Now, he was a decent singer. Decent. His music was good. His composition of his music was really good. I have to say that for it. But as far as his singing, I mean, he could sing, but he actually did get a contract by the time I left. To sing. He had to make a certain number of songs, and I know he screwed that up. I know him. What he did is they fronted him some money, and he spent it. He needed to spend the money on, actually making the album, actually going into a recording studio, and he didn't do that. So he spent their money, and he gave them jack squat, I think. Anyway, I'll find a link. You can listen to him sing for yourself. Richard's dead now. You want to know how and why? Follow the link. I'm not talking about it. Happened after I left. His wife, Laura, seemed to think that she could do whatever she wanted. Of course she did. The Queen. And he had another wife. His name I won't give you. Let's call her Susan. The only real names I'm giving you are the people that as far as I'm concerned, there's no reason for me to cover up their names. They need to be held accountable for what they've done. Laura Dugan was someone who felt that she was entitled to everything and anything. There was an incident up there where she overdosed on pills. I don't know whether she was trying to kill herself or what. But if it wasn't for me, she would have died. I kept her awake. I kept her awake while we went to the hospital. That's what you do. You keep them awake. Make them fight with you. Biggest mistake I made up there was actually saving her sorry ass life. I'm trying to remember more detail about Richard. I've got 4 minutes left. He oftentimes would just do the sermon on Saturday instead of me. I asked him to sometimes. A lot of times he just did it. He made sure to tell me that we were equals when I was first there, on the very first day, that we were equals. That I was over the church and he was over the secular. But he constantly stepped in. He constantly stepped in as far as the teaching was concerned, which is secular. But the thing is, he would pull the kids out of school all the time for no reason. And then when I would try to start school again, he would say, "No, I don't want you to be teaching them now." And then he would turn around a week later and tell me to start teaching them again. Towards the end of when I was there, the rest of the group thought that there was some kind of power struggle going on. There wasn't a power struggle going on, you idiots. I didn't want the power over you people. It wasn't a power struggle at all. I just wasn't doing what Richard told me to do anymore. After everything Richard did, after everything Richard said, after every prophecy that he gave us that didn't come to pass, he's a false, or was a false prophet, you morons. I'm sure the family will see this eventually. I mean, how stupid can you be? Seriously. How stupid can you be? The way he died, the way he lived, you still hold him up as though he was what he said he was. Now you want to take control, Rob. Now you want to be Richard, Rob. You go down that road, you're going to end up just like him. You're going to end up just like him. Rob and Lou, his wife, Lou, Myrtle, Louise. How the hell I stayed up there 3 years and 9 months, I have no idea. No idea. It's a real commitment that I took upon myself. A real commitment. A commitment to what I believe to be the will of God. It was the will of Jehovah, just not God. Jehovah is a God. Not a very powerful one anymore either. He is sitting on the sidelines. Not for long. He is going to back me up now, as I backed him. I started these videos by saying that there's going to be people in the future who are going to want to watch these videos to know my story. By the time most of you see this video, you will know exactly who I am. I'm not a man to trifle with. I'll leave these links down here on the bottom. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to make another video like this. I might just start doing audio for a while. But I'll continue to tell my story.